Hello. London's mayor blames government cuts for his radical decision to close half of London's police stations. Sadiq Khan says it will save £8 million a year, part of a savings drive he says is essential because of a £600 million cut to the Met's budget. But the closures will leave each of London's 32 boroughs with only one police counter, with people being told they'll have to report crimes online or over the phone instead. Well, our political correspondent Simon Harris reports.
Ealing Nick is long past its prime, yet behind the shabby and neglected exterior is a working police station still serving the local community. But not for much longer. The doors will soon be closed to the public, much to the dismay of residents like nightclub owner Ross Biagini, who recently popped in to report his mobile phone stolen in a bar.
If you don't use it, you never miss it. However, I did use it and I found it very, very supportive and helpful, and I'll miss it if it's not there. I really will.
London's mayor claims government cuts are forcing him to shut more than half of London's police station front counters.
I don't want to do this, but I'm afraid the cuts mean I've got no choice.
Can you say hand on heart that Londoners will be just as safe with these closed police station counters?
I hope so. I can't give that guarantee. What I'm trying to do is making sure we ameliorate, we minimise the disruption to communities. I've been reassured by the police that the numbers of people who use these police stations actually is quite low.
There are currently 71 police stations in London open to the public. A total of around 180 crimes are reported at these front counters every day. But under the mayor's plan, 39 of the 71 will shut up shop for good. Even at the busiest police station on the mayor's hit list here in Notting Hill, fewer than 5 crimes a day are reported to the front desk. And in somewhere like Notting Hill, this building is far more valuable to the Met as a piece of real estate. The government disputes the mayor's claim that spending cuts are to blame.
The Met Police budget over the 5 years, 2015 to 2020, is being protected in cash terms. It's not being cut, and Sadiq Khan should be able to find ways of maintaining police numbers within that.
Senior officers say it's a choice between buildings or officers on the beat, a more visible police force.
That means not having them stuck in police stations, but being out in the communities that they serve. And we're equipping them with a whole range of new equipment, mobile devices, tablets and so on, so they can take the information they need with them.
And if that argument sounds familiar, it's similar to the one used to justify the closure of ticket offices on the Tube. Simon Harris, ITV News, Ealing.
Well, next tonight, the full scale of the financial crisis facing the owners of the London Stadium was made clear today. Its bosses said they still don't know when it will break even and may have to use a £200 million emergency fund unless changes are made. The total cost to the taxpayer has already exceeded £700 million, in part because of the huge price of converting it to a football ground for West Ham. Our political correspondent Simon Harris reports.
It was meant to be an ingenious solution to an Olympic-sized problem, how to turn a football ground into an athletics stadium. But when the retractable seating was put through its paces this summer, it landed the Olympic Stadium's owners with a bill for £8 million. Now it's back to the drawing board.
For next summer's athletics, we've looked at a different configuration where we don't need to move the seats all the way back. We can do, if you like, partial changes to each of the stands, and it dramatically reduces the cost.
Members of the London Assembly wanted to know about a potential £200 million black hole in the deal to lease the stadium to West Ham. Would council taxpayers have to pick up the tab?
Is there any point where we'll be expected to contribute to fill that gap?
It would be a loss that the business would incur year on year over the very long term. We have 99-year concession agreements with West Ham, so if nothing was done to fix it, it would be a loss.
Officials say they're working on a number of measures to try to stem the losses. Last year, Sadiq Khan announced an internal review into the stadium's troubled history and finances. It still hasn't reported, and that delay is now holding up a lucrative deal to sell the naming rights. When London bid for the Olympics in 2005, the estimated cost of the stadium was £280 million. By the opening ceremony in 2012, it was £429 million. Now converted to accommodate West Ham, the cost has risen to £752 million.
How can something be described as sustainable when London taxpayers will have to keep propping you up every year and you can't tell us when that's going to stop? How is that sustainable?
Well, I think I haven't said it is sustainable. I've said we're trying to reach a point where
it's not sustainable.
Right. No, I said, and we're on a trend towards reaching that.
Despite the undertakings right back at the start of the project that the whole Olympic Park would be a sustainable thing and end up paying for itself, we now know that's not the case, and there's no prospect of it ever paying for itself.
5 years after the stadium's greatest moment, no one is brave enough to predict when it will break even, let alone make a profit.
So, Simon, will this stadium ever prove value for money for the taxpayer?
Well, it's certainly value for money for West Ham, which pays just £2.5 million a year for the lease. It's value for money for UK athletics, which gets to keep the profits from any summer fixtures. How you judge value for money for the council taxpayers of London is less clear. Now, the London Legacy Development Corporation argues that, in fact, the stadium is a vital part of the whole Olympic Park regeneration. It's a key ingredient which has led to the transformation of that area, and there certainly have been thousands of new jobs, lots of new homes, and a complete transformation of what was a very run-down area. Without the stadium, there wouldn't have been an Olympics. Without the Olympics, there wouldn't have been regeneration. But at this stage, it's by no means clear when the contribution from London Council taxpayers will come to an end.
All right, Simon, thank you.